just gonna go ahead and get started. So successfully selling HUD homes, 3S, 4S, 5S, that's by region. Okay. What is a HUD home? Definition, 1 to 4 single family residence. So anything that's considered. Now, we're not able to share any of these, but you guys can take photos and do any of that, but we're not, they don't require us. They're pretty strict on as far as sharing, and that's why I didn't pass out any fancy handouts or stuff. So don't worry, out of here, you guys are gonna become experts. I'm just trying to get rid of this, guys. So I don't see my little arrow. That's what's causing this. I have to kind of guess where it is, and it's no. Let me see if I can escape that, so I can get rid of this because I don't need to see this, and I don't need to see that. Okay, so it's a 1 to 4 unit family residence acquired as a result of a foreclosure. So it's basically like a REO, but for HUD properties. Like, I mean, for FHA properties. But we don't like to call them REOs. It's just, you know, we don't want to have any negative connotations on them. They don't allow it. They vary in price, location. There's some really expensive ones. There's some really bad ones. It's all, you get the full spectrum of it. And they sell throughout the whole state. Now, just a question, a random question. Are you guys approved with HUD here? Do you guys have an NEID number and all that?
Yes, we do.
Awesome, awesome. See? Great. Okay. And show of hands, have any of you guys ever sold a HUD home? One person? Okay. Out of like 1,000 here? Okay, great. All right. All right. So we're here to increase those numbers. Awesome. Doing the right place. Make more money, revenue.
Yeah.
Okay. So understanding as is, what is as is? Basically what it states. No warranties, representations about the FHA, insurable or otherwise. There's no repairs. Is as is, safe, secure, and marketable. Okay. Buyers are allowed to encourage to get their independent home inspections. Buyers don't typically acquire bills or liens. Those are usually taken care of by HUD. Okay, those people in the chat, and if they have any questions, I don't know if we want to answer them during or hold them till the end, because it will take about an hour if we go straight. Okay, and if you guys have some cold water. Because I find out by like the 20th page, I'm like trying to figure out like where, yeah. So thank you. Okay, so HUD contractors, who's all involved, right? All these people. No, I'm just kidding. So thank you so much. Thank you. So the HUD Mortgage Homeownership Center located in Santa Ana, the HOC. There's a mortgagee compliance, MCM. The field asset servicer, those are the guys taking care of locking the doors, changing windows. The asset manager, these are our boss, 18 Realty, and the local listing brokers, which is us. Okay, so nationwide contractors or ISNs, they're based out of Oklahoma, and they perform a different type of services to make sure that the assets are protected. There's one contract per state. So FSMs, again, these are the people taking care of the homes, making sure the weeds are cut, the windows are locked, everything. So if you guys ever find a HUD home that needs care or it has a vandalism, let us know right away. And they did change the website. It used to be HUDhomestore.com. Now it's .gov. So it's a government website. So if you guys actually, we'll go at the end of this, we'll go into the HUD Home Store and we'll look to what's at the inventory throughout California. I mean, inventory is pretty low right now with HUD, but it's a cycle, right? We've seen in 2008 through 12, it was just like a bunch of HUD homes, REOs. I think those days will come back, in my opinion. We're starting to see equity markets come down, so I think we pretty much eventually see more REOs. We never want REOs, but it's just part of what it is, right? Asset managers, they cover the regions 5S, 4S, 3S, California, Hawaii, Nevada, Idaho, and Arizona. So I think they just added one of the states, but. So the local listing brokers, what are our title? What we do is basically, we provide full listing services on HUD homes. Pretty much every HUD home is vacant. So by the time we take over, we do BPOs, market the properties, And we're gonna share with you guys like some nuggets on how you guys can market. So you guys are probably our agents that are like, well, I just started. How do I market homes? HUD is perfect for it, and I'll show you guys how. List on the MLS. They're all listed on MLS, so there's no like backdoor or anything. However, if you're not registered as an agent through the NEID of your broker, you can't participate in the purchasing of a HUD home, and that's the whole purpose of today. So you guys can actually make bids on it, and it's the easiest. If you guys, the new offers are the car offer forms are crazy, if you ask me, but the HUD it's got easier, very simple. It's a one-page, like so really, it's like taking like it's like, hi, what's your name? Okay, great, make an offer. It's really that simple. Okay, so they're appropriate mainstreams. We place signs in the yard, reports, making sure the property's safe. We do these monthly agent classes, not quarterly. Right. Okay, so the sales process, how do you sell HUD homes, right? Any licensed real estate agent can sell HUD homes. You don't need to be a broker. You don't need to be a special agent. Brokerages, not individuals, must register with HUD. As Sophia mentioned, she's already registered. So you guys take that lead. When broker registered with HUD, the brokerage will receive an NAID number. That's like a special number that you guys will have to use to register yourselves as agent under that NAID number. Okay. So to become a registered broker, you just need to complete the package and you go hudhomestore.gov and you send the package. She already did all that for you. So it's just easier for you guys. Just go and register agents, and I'm sure Sophia can go into more into detail. Who can buy a HUD home? Anybody. Buyers will fall into three categories. You got owner occupants, investors, and government agencies or nonprofits. Owner occupants are given priority. So that's a cool thing about HUD homes in a hot market, that investors can't touch them during the first 14 days, usually 14, 15 days. I forget, they keep changing it. They must occupy the home for a year. So of course they want people, just like FHA guidelines, right? And you cannot participate in HUD homes for the 2 years after the purchase. Investors, you'll be able to bid after the extended period, and there's no restriction on quantity, so you can buy as many as you like. And there's a different bidding cycle than the owner occupied. Okay. HUD will pay up to, let me let these people in. There's some people on the. The benefits of HUD home are that HUD will pay up to 3% commission. So a lot of people think, oh, well, REOs don't really pay commission. It's not true. They'll pay up to 3%. If it's a condo or townhome, the project approval is not required on HUD homes. I'm not going to get into that many details on that. I.e. financing types, insurable. We're going to get into the financing types later. Owner occupied, we talked about the priority bidding period. Another benefit of it is that there's low EMDs. It could be $500, $1,000, or $2,000 as a deposit. Yes?
You said they pay 3% commission?
Up to 3% commission, correct.
And 3% of buyer's closing costs?
Yeah, if you ask for it. I mean, chances are you probably won't get it, because when you're going down the net sheet, and we'll get into more details, like hold some of your questions, because I'm sure we're going to answer a lot of those questions. But like when HUD cares about the bottom line. So if someone else bids you by $500, they get it. Maybe they didn't ask for 3%, they asked for 2.8 commission. And so all that matters. Okay. So whenever I submit an offer, I'll put like 2.75, and I'll put a lower price. So just at 500, and I've had luck getting offers. You got offers accepted. Yeah. You play with the numbers, and closing costs to the buyer. You're like, not in this market. Yeah. Like unless they really, really need it, then you help them. But otherwise, it's going to hurt them. It's detrimental. Okay, good neighbor next door programs. That's another benefit. They pretty much get the properties at 50% off the retail price. Yes.
Can you explain what that is? I know what it is, but we don't.
Yeah, we're gonna go into that. Yeah, it's gonna go into a lot of details. Believe me, we have about 50 minutes of all these details. Yeah, all the HUD homes are listed on HUDhomestore.gov nationwide. So there's no secret, like you have to have a certain key. No, everyone sees it. The good thing is the asset managers respond within 24 hours on all offers. Okay. FHA 203K loans are available, so they don't discriminate like, oh, there's an FHA buyer. HUD doesn't care. Bottom line, what are you offering? Are they approved? Yes, they do want you to be approved. And termite inspection and treatment is paid by HUD as well if there's an active infestation. And another benefit is they're sealed bids. So there's no like funny stuff. Like you send the offer. If you ask me as an agent, like, hey, I got a listing and there's 16 offers. I don't even know there's 16 offers. It goes to the asset manager. The asset manager says, oh, approve this one. This is the highest one. So that's the bid transparency, okay? Properties eligible for HUD special programs will be on a lottery round. These are like Good Neighbor Next Door and the nonprofits. So very few of these. The Good Neighbor Next Door, I mean, you can expect them to go like really fast because they're 50% off. So yeah, you can imagine, right? Good Neighbor Next Door are enhanced discounts on HUD homes for firefighters, EMTs, police, and teachers. So that's another marketing tool. You can go to the schools, you can go to EMTs and tell them, hey, HUD has these Good Neighbor Next Door programs. Yeah, it's gonna be a rough neighborhood, but hey, you waited out for 3 years, you got a house at half of value. So it's a good deal if you ask me. And it's only $100 down payment. Yeah, hey, no. The other thing about it is that the only catch is that they don't pay you a commission on these. So you'd have to get the commission from the buyers. Okay. And they're in the designated revitalized area, revitalization area, what's considered like up and coming neighborhood or something. I don't know what the exact terms are, but must live there 36 months. And no spouse or anyone could have ownership of property in the past 12 months. Okay, and your spouse could have not participated in the Good Neighbor Next Door program in the past. The bid must be 100% of the listing price, so they're not going to haggle with the price. Like you're not getting 50% off, and you're like, oh, I'll offer you this much. No, it's like take it or leave it. That's what it is. All right. So the amount of earnest money is required. It's no less than 500, no more than 2,000. You can utilize any type of financing, cash or deal. You can utilize any type of finance. And HUD will not pay real estate commissions on these. So bidding on HUD homes, the process. Let's see, let me just make sure we don't have any questions yet. Okay, so Jamar is answering the questions. Thank you so much, Jamar. All right. Let me click out of this. Jeez. Awesome. And let me minimize that. All right, cool. So the bidding process. Who can sell HUD home? Any licensed broker. You got to be licensed and registered with HUD. Those two things. Any ID, we talked about that. That's the specific unique number that you get from your broker. The broker agent must also register. She's already registered. Yeah, so you guys are pretty much good on that. And we'll show you guys as if we're going to make a bid. I'll throw that in after once we answer the questions. This is what the page looks like when you log on. You go to the NEID portal, and this is where you search for properties. I usually just go by city or state, whatever. You can pull up all of California. There's probably under 10 properties right now, but that number is expected to go up. And you go there to register. Include the following forms: IRS documentation or social card, driver license, real estate broker license, or salesperson license, and recent phone bill. They want to make sure you're, I think this is for you. You already done that. They want to make sure you are who you say you are. Additional information. You fill out the entire application only when recertifying. And you have to hold on. Let me just mute some people here. Let me mute people. Okay, just if you guys could mute yourself, guys, if you guys are not if you guys are not talking, please. Let me just get. Okay, let me just mute some people. I'm sorry, guys. Where's the participants? Here they are.
No, that's one of the problems with this property. The city and title, everyone has it as the.
There he goes. Perfect. I recognize his voice. Okay. So, original signatures only. Signature date stamps are not accepted. So yeah, pretty much use the recent bill or bank statement to avoid any. And every year you must register. So don't let it lapse. And do it make sure you put a note of that, because if you re-register, then it's a hassle, and you need about 4 to 6 weeks. We say about 4 to 6 weeks. Any ID requirement, see, it's in red. Start the process at least a month to research. That's all. If you guys have technical difficulties or anything like that, there's a hotline. So, okay, we have another person that wants to come in. Let me let them in. They slowly trickle in. All right, latecomers. And then I'm sure we have people there. So we have 2 things going on. All right, each selling broker and agent must register as a bidder. Valid NAID number. The broker cannot register with more than 1 NAID per license per state. So, yeah, you can have out of state, but you got to link them. There's a way to do it. It's easy and free. Okay, you will log on to your own account so you could bid. And then there's the bidder information, which I can show you guys after in more detail, but it's really 1 page. It's very, very simple. Yeah. That's it. It's gonna verify your information, and then it tells you your bid's successful, and then you sleep on it, and then hopefully you get good news in the morning, or sometimes you get counter offers, and then we'll talk about the bidding timelines as well. This is how you search for properties. How do you show at home? Simple. All of them have Supras. The combo lockboxes are for the contractors. So they're going to be vacant most of the time. If they're not vacant, if there's a problem with them, let us know right away, and we'll make sure they replace the keys. Sometimes people take the keys. Happens. All showings are subject to CDC COVID-19 orders. Pretty much we're seeing the COVID numbers go down, which is great. So jumped on a plane, international flight, and they say, "Oh, it was magic to my ears. Like, no more mask, only if you want." I was like, "Oh, thank God." And the plane's like, 10-hour flight, 5-hour flights are crazy with a mask on. Okay, do you need approval to submit a bid? Yes, just like any other property. Of course, you need to be you don't want to work with a buyer who's not approved, right? I mean, you still gonna need financing unless it's cash. And you want to verify the cash as well, where they have the money prior to placing your bid. Now, it's important because if you don't do that, then you could lose the deposit for them. That's not good. There's also a PCR, which is a property condition report on every property. So it will tell you what's wrong with the property. It's on there. You're still entitled, if you want, to do your own due diligence and do your own report, but it's on there. Also, we want to make sure the funds are sourced, and any disclosures will be on there as well. Okay, so what needs to be included in the pre-qualification or pre-approval letter? The letter must be on the letterhead, dated within the past 30 days from the lender, any reputable lender, the purchaser's name, the amount of pre-qualification, and lender's contact information. Importance of solid and qualified buyers. Well, we talked about that. You're going to risk losing the EMD. You don't want to risk losing the EMD. What's the importance of qualified buyers? Overbidding, FHA continues to be an issue. Now, this is very, very important because in an environment right now where people are overbidding just to win, you're going to have to pay the difference with HUD. So they're not going to say, "Oh, yeah, the appraisal came in 50,000 less." Not my problem. You're going to get in trouble with your buyer because you didn't tell them that. So overbidding is a big problem right now. especially with rising rates, we might see more and more appraisals come down. I'm not saying we are, no one can predict the market, but it's gonna be a point in time where it's gonna change. And it's like, you're gonna see less, so I discourage people from overbidding, do your comps. And if it's reasonable, like 5,000-10,000, then, you talk to your client, hey, I'll meet you in the middle, or, but HUD is not gonna budge. They're gonna say, we'll go to the next one if you don't do it. So just prepare your buyers for that, okay? Very important. Overbidding with conventional financing is basically, again, you're gonna pay the difference in cash. That's conventional, okay? So FHA might not apply to that. I'm not sure 100% on that, but it says, it says FHA as well. So it's FHA, and if the buyer wishes to renegotiate the HUD price home, you must cancel that contract and then put it back on the market. So you can come back at a lower price, but it's gonna go back to another bidder. And if someone just offers more, and then it's gone. So you risk it being gone. So just why chance it? Okay, so these acronyms. Well, I'm gonna take a 1-minute break in case there's questions while I mute some people here, because I hear some people like munching or doing what? Yeah, so let me just mute people. Yeah, okay. All right, so do you guys have any questions so far? Between HUD and what now? Oh, the good neighbor next door?
Yeah.
No, it's a HUD product. It's a HUD product, but it's basically like, let's say a home falls into the category where where it's considered like a revitalization. Like, let's say you have some parts here that are a little rough,
Little hood. Yeah.
Little hood. So I don't know another way to say it. I don't know what's a sophisticated way to say that. Right. But revitalization. So it's basically like you got a firefighter. They want more professionals there, good, responsible people taking care of the home. Plus, I guess it's an incentive too. Like, I mean, they work hard for us, firefighters, EMTs, police, they work really hard. So that's just a benefit. Like, HUD is a government agency. They're helping people out.
So they're the ones that they don't pay commissions, right? Only HUD.
Well, no, they don't. HUD doesn't pay the commission on those, but you as an agent, I don't think you want to work for free, right? I don't. So you would ask them, hey, I'm going to help you get this home at 50% off. Can you help me? Yeah, help a brother out. Give me something, yes.
It kind of works out if you said that they're only putting $100 down, right?
Yeah, 100 to 500 and 2,000. It varies depending on the price.
So it kind of works out in your favor where you're saying, hey, can you tell them upfront, hey, I'm going to make you a HUD home. It's 50% off. You're responsible for paying your commission.
Right.
Your commission is
Yeah.
Yeah,
you could say 2%, 2.5% of 300,000, and they're getting it half. So it's going to be based on the half. So if it's 400, you're getting at 200. You negotiate 2.5. What's that? About 5,500 or something like that. So that can be that's only on Good Neighbor Next Door programs. It's very few of those. For the most part, you're going to deal with just regular HUD homes, which are going to pay you up to 3%. And we'll talk about that after. We can play with the numbers as long as the net is there, and then you'll okay. So let's go back to the acronyms now. So the IN, UI, HOA, we'll talk about all that right now. So F is flood zone, the properties that are located in a flood zone. And these are going to be on the disclosures. So there's a PCR, and then there's disclosures on the supplements of the MLS. And they're going to be, when you go on the HUDhomestore.gov, they're listed on there as well. Homeowners Association, HOA, lead-based paint, LBP. So lead-based paint, pre-1978, owner-occupied, FHA financing. HUD will pay up to $4,000 if there's found, for example, if there's any lead-based paint stuff like that. They'll cancel the sales contract and receive 100% of the EMV back if they don't want that. allow 203K. So they allow 203K you guys familiar with 203K or 203B? You guys know the difference? 203K is basically like a product where it's like a home that's a bit distressed and they'll help you bring it up to par. So like maybe it's not financeable. It's financeable with the condition that you fix certain things. Maybe there's missing cabinets, missing flooring. Well, the 203K program will give you like up to, on the Streamline product, up to 35,000, which you can use towards rehabbing. It's a long process, and HUD's the perfect product to use that with, because unfortunately, most realtors, they're ignorant to that, where they'll say, oh, we don't accept 203K loans, because a lot of times they don't even know what it entails. It's really a good product. Yeah, your escrow might extend, 45, 60 days, but it's a great product. I mean, if you're gonna get more money for it, like if I was flipping a home and it needs some work, I would totally do it. It's a great product for the buyer as well, because let's say they're gonna finance at 35,000 and they can use it for whatever they want, even cosmetic stuff. A lot of people don't know that. So you can put new flooring, cabinets, quartz counters, whatever, new bathrooms, and they'll finance it into the deal. It's pretty sweet. So it's not going to be like a second mortgage. It's financed into the deal, but they give it to them in similar to like a holdback when you flip a home in phases. Like, oh, you did the flooring already? Okay, we'll release the money, and they'll pay the contractor directly to make sure the funds don't get mismanaged. That's a 203K loan. Yeah. Insurable. That means the property's in pretty good shape and it's insurable. It meets 203B is the opposite of 203K. 203B means, FHA will insure it as is. 203K is kind of like the one that says it needs work. So there's two different products, 203B and 203K. All right. Now, insured, this is again with escrow. That's a small, less than 10,000. Like, okay, it needs broken windows, some flooring, cabinets are a little scuffed. They'll still insure it. It's still qualify under the 203B product, but they'll hold back like $10,000 till they repair that, and they give you like 90 days to fix it. Those are also, I've been using this product for a long time. A lot of people, I mean, you see a home that's a little bit messed up. Oh, the realtor tells you, oh, it doesn't qualify because it needs it. What? It just needs to, the garage needs to be converted back to a garage. Simple. $1,000 garage door, put some floor, concrete, whatever, or break it out, some demo, and that's it. You're good. So don't get discouraged. There's creative ways. Talk to the right lender. You need to work with the right lenders. Uninsurable. These are the properties that we're talking about that it needs extensive repairs after escrow, not eligible for FHA 203B. Okay. These are either cash or 203K. Now, no repairs are done during the escrow of a HUD home. They won't allow it. It's too much liability. So just keep that in mind. Now the 203B financing that's added to the mortgage, the sales price, like you could do the work after escrow closes. That's not a problem. They just don't want you doing work before. It's too much liability. You could see how it could open up. Like you remodel the garage and then the escrow doesn't close for whatever reason. It's a big lawsuit waiting to happen, right? Like the buyer's like, hey, I did all that work. Well, sorry, you didn't close. So it becomes ownership of the owner says, thank you. So that's why I think HUD doesn't want any work being done. Bidding periods. Okay, so it'll be listed the day they become available. The lottery properties, remember, these are the ones for Good Neighbor Next Door and nonprofits. General market listings, they're all other properties. The sealed bids, exclusive bidding, they'll accumulate during the length of the bidding period and will be reviewed the day after the close period timelines are stated. If they're daily bidding, they'll look at it every day. If they're extended, individual 24-hour bidding periods. So we'll get into that. So 7 days for Good Neighbor, government agencies. So there's 30-day exclusive. It used to be 14, now it's 30 days. So on those general market ones, they give the opportunity to, so they're not competing with cash investors or anyone else. It's just regular buyers that want to live in the home, which is great. That's a huge benefit because every other home you see flipped out there, whatever, they all, not always, but they're going to give preference to cash or the guy having 20% down. And here it could be a regular folk putting 3.5% down. And there's no discrimination on the offer, which is great because it's hard. It's hard to compete with the and you guys can always now use a program that NAF has, the cash, right? Turn your buyers into cash. Have you guys done any of those yet?
No, we haven't done it, but he's gonna come teach you.
In June, yeah, that's gonna be exciting because, yeah, that's gonna be exciting. Yep. Man, you guys are gonna have all the tools.
Yeah, so he's coming back to teach with Frank Fuentes, and then he's gonna teach us about quick bill and then how to make buyers into cash buyers.
Yeah, it's a great product. I haven't used it yet because I don't know all the details. I got certified for it, but I'd encourage everyone to, there's like a 45-minute class they do, but it's great. Maybe maybe we can ask them to certify everyone that day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right, that'd be great. So, okay, so 30-day exclusive. The 10 days are accumulated seal bidding. What does that mean? For 10 days, they're gonna hold all the offers. So if you offered on day 1, it doesn't matter if you offer on day 9. They're not gonna give. They're just gonna, on the 10th day, they're gonna look at all the bids. That's what it means. And there's sealed bid. Sealed meaning it's only the asset manager sees them. Followed by the 20-day daily bidding. So if nobody on that 10-day, the first 10 days, if they didn't have any acceptable offers because either they were too low or everyone ignored it, then it will go to the 20-day daily bidding. So they'll open it up every 24 hours. They're gonna review. Oh, no one offered today. Okay, tomorrow. Someone made an offer, cool. We'll counter or accept it. So that's probably the sweet spot is probably after like the 11th day, I think, to track those, where you could start daily bidding. I think it's a very good chance of getting your offer accepted. And then all bidders, after day 30, it's like the floodgates open up, investors, anyone. Maybe they overpriced it for a little bit. 30 days, nobody ignored it or it needed some work. 30 days, hey, any investor can come and buy it. So, and that's the extended. Uninsured is different. These are for the insured properties. These are like the ones that are ready to go finance, FHA finance. The uninsured, 5 days, owner occupied, exclusive sealed bidding. So it's only 5 days. On day 6, it's everyone, including investors. Okay, closing costs. This is where it gets a little tricky. So it's up to 3%. It's up to you, whatever you want to make. Us as listing agents, I think they give us 3% already. But for the buyer's agent, it's whatever you want to make on it, okay? And that will affect your offer, obviously. I know right now, what's the going rate around here? Like 2.5%?
Yes.
2%. I mean, so it's good. I mean, you still can make over 2.5%. It's great. So you can use the closing costs to pay for some of it, or you can play with it. I'll show you guys how to do that. We have plenty of time. How do we allow to 3% of the property to go towards the agent commission? Line 6B will populate. Please make sure that, for example, this has happened before. So instead of putting like $5,000, sometimes people put $500. If all you put $500, they're gonna interpret it like all you wanted to make was $500. That has happened. So make sure you double check it. Oh, I'm making 5,000, not 500. All right, so. I mean, if you're that generous, then I want you to represent me too. Proration of property taxes on any special assessments such as HOA fees and utility bills, condominium HOA transfer fees, cost to provide condominiums. So yeah, we're not going to get into much details on that. Basically, like they're not going to have to pay any of the fees. 1,000 minimum commission for properties listed 33,000 or less. I don't think we're going to deal with many of those, right? Over 40,000 and buyer bids 26,000, acceptance standard 3%. HUD will pay up to 3%. So bids can be submitted 24/7, but are not reviewed on federal holidays or weekends. They will be reviewed Monday, the next day, or unless Monday is a federal holiday, then Tuesday. The bid deadline is 11:59 Central Standard Time, so that's 2 hours ahead. So it's not really midnight here, it's more like 10 p.m. So just keep that in mind. Otherwise, it'll go for the next day. There's no time preference in bidding. However, if there is a tie, it goes to whoever bid first. Friday, Saturday, Sunday bids are considered the same bid grouping. Holiday bids are grouped with the previous day bids. So there's a lot of technicalities, but You want to bid as soon as possible. So yeah, if there's a tie, it goes to the order it was submitted. If you wish to withdraw, make sure you cancel it before they accept it. Reason for canceling, failure to remit, we'll get into that. Making sure that it's not accurate. If it's not accurate, it will be returned. The EMD will be returned by selling agent to the listing broker. Buyer's agent cancels voluntarily. So there's several ways to cancel. On the bid deadline, all offers are reviewed and then accepted, rejected, or counter offered. You'll be notified via email when your offer is accepted. And then it'll tell you what to do. And it'll tell you the order of how to DocuSign it as well. So all offers are acceptable within a range of threshold will be countered with the final acceptable net to HUD. Because your bid may not be the only counter offer, please respond with your highest and best. Do not counter with a counter. Deposits, so under 50,000, $500. Under $1,000 for under 50,000, for 50,000 and up, sorry. Most of them are gonna, in California, are gonna fall under the 250 category or up. $2,000 is pretty much the EMD. What else? The payee will always be the closing agent. So the closing agent, you can choose it. You just have to pay the fees, or your buyer would have to pay the fees. But the closing agent, there's a scroll down menu of people that are certified, or you can just choose any escrow company. And if they're not approved with HUD, then we'll get into that. It's going to be okay. So when an agent places a bid, additional information is required that was not previously needed. Make sure all information is accurate, read all the instructions before and follow up timely, read emails through DocuSign, HUD Home Store, A-Team Realty to ensure a smooth process. So this is where the scroll down menu comes up. If it doesn't auto-populate, that means they're not there. So then it would trigger a new, what do they call it? The title ID number. So you can create one for them if the escrow company is not already on. So we talked about that already. Bid acceptance. Agent will be notified by 18 that the client has been awarded the bid. So it's your responsibility to give the check for within 2 business days to the listing broker, and it has to be certified funds. It can't be like a regular check. Earnest money received EMD. No. Okay. In order for contracts to be sent out, there's a checklist within 48 hours, proof of funds, EMD, copy of a cashier's check, and the broker designated signer form. So we'll give you all that. But yeah, you have 48 hours. So if you don't do it in 48 hours, they'll go to the next person. So it's as soon as your bid gets accepted, get on it. Accepted bids, it's fun. This is my favorite part when you get a bid accepted. It'll generate the e-signature envelope and then it'll go down the order. Home Store will receive a DocuSign to review the contract before signatures are requested. The agent will not sign anything until they are reviewing the package for accuracy. So once A-Team says they review it and it's great, then they'll send it out to sign. You don't sign before. Once they click on finish and confirm that the package is ready for signatures, emails are sent in the following order. It goes to the broker designated signer, the buyer or multiple buyers, and the escrow officer, and then it goes back to A-Team. That's when it's fully ratified, when everybody signs, all parties. Once A-Team has signed the contract, executed the file, all parties who signed the contract will receive another email with the copy of the fully executed signed package. You got 1 business day to return the corrected contract if there's any mistakes. So it's really time sensitive. If not, the contract will be canceled and go to the next highest bidder.
They don't play.
Yeah, they don't play around, for sure. That's why you got to have close communication with the listing. We're here to help. Like, we're experts in this. So whatever you need, communicate. Hey, what do I need? What do I need? Come to the office, bring the check. Like, I do all that when I represent a buyer. I'm at the listing brokers. I camp out for the day. I'm like, okay, make sure you need anything. Go back and forth, get the check. I got the wrong check before or the amounts or something, there's always something to fix. You want to send the package complete, and you know, if you're thorough, you're not going to have any problems. So, forms, 18, okay, yeah, that's pretty much just amendments. Amendments may take 72 hours to process. Once you're under contract, all right, cool. So optional but highly recommended, of course. You have a 15-day due diligence period where you can inspect the home. You already have the PCR form, but you can always do your own. We always recommend to get their own. You must have the FSM. Remember, that's the person that takes care of the properties to authorize your home inspection. So make sure you get that signed first before you start. So get a head start. 48 hours to complete the inspection after utility is turned on. So they're the ones that are going to turn on utilities. They're going to authorize you to do it, and the buyer has to turn on the utilities under their name. And then it's your job to turn them off. So, and of course, you don't want to do the inspection without utilities. So you got to contact the FSM, get authorization from them. They'll say, okay, here's the form. Then your buyer has to turn on utilities under their name temporarily and then turn them off. Okay. So it's a little complicated, but we'll help you through it. We'll help you guide through it. So this is an important one. The agent resources page on the 18 website is also found on the FSM utility activation authorization form and link. So there's forms on there if you go to the 18 website. And for more information, you can always go to hudhomestore.gov. Most of the information is there. Purchasers inspection may not be done until the signed form is returned from the FSM. So you can't start. You have 15 days, but you can't start until you get that form signed. It may be a day or two. So stipulations for HUD to provide termite or wood destroying, I forget what the old stands for, organisms, I don't letter. State or zone mandated, FHA financing must have a lender. HUD will find treatment. So this applies to the termite, and they will pay for termite if there's but the buyer will be responsible for treatment and repairs after the closing. If it doesn't meet those conditions, like where they don't mandate it, or if FHA doesn't require it, they're not going to pay for it. Basically, that's more. It applies more to either if FHA asks for it, or if HUD discovers it before, they'll remedy it. I think up to $4,000 or $6,000, and then if it's a VA loan. So if it's a VA loan, of course, they're going to require. Buyers cannot move in or start doing repairs before closing. Okay, so it's a big no-no. Closing protocol. We're almost towards the end. FHA conventional, 45 days. They give you to close. Cash, 30 days. 203K, 60 days. Okay, so there's extensions that you can get. So I would suggest to get extensions at least 5 days before, just to make sure they give you more time. If you need more time, they're pretty strict on that. So for example, there's a 10-day per diem for under $25,000. We'll talk about. You're gonna see most commonly the price 50,000 and up. So 25 per day in 15-day increments. So they charge you $375 up front if you want 15-day. But again, you're gonna need to give them a few days before to get the extension granted. Now you must submit the forms in certified funds with the check for the $375 to get the 15-day extension. You submit to 18 5 days prior to expiration. They're in Florida, so you got to send this like overnight or something. Hard copies must be remitted with the 18th. Fee must be payable to HUD, and include the documentation of why you need. Like during COVID, there was a lot of offices were closed, so it was a good reason. But I don't know what reasons lenders are going to have delays now with. But if there's a legitimate delay, then you let them know. It's not always guaranteed that they're going to give you the extension though. Waive fees available. Delays by HUD or A-Team or the FSM, that's understandable. But owner occupants will be granted one free extension when there has been a delay with financing and all buyer documents have been submitted in a timely manner. 2 free extensions will be granted for 203K loans. So they understand that 203K loans take a little longer, tend to take a little longer. the buyer will not be reimbursed for rate extensions with the lender, regardless of the cause of delay. So they might give you an extension, but they're not gonna pay for your rate lock extension. We always recommend that you do a final walkthrough the day before closing. If the lockbox is removed, coordinate with the local listing broker to retrieve the key. If there's any issues, again, just contact us. And they'll postpone in case there's any issues or vandalism. So now, post-closing, the fun part, the buyer can now have utilities activated permanently under their name. The selling agent coordinates to ensure the buyer is able to gain access to the property. We always recommend, the keys are not really given. It's recommended that you have a locksmith there at the property. HUD's a little different. So yeah, you just meet the locksmith there at the day of closing and have them do it. Prepare them for that. So they're not like, it's not the traditional, oh, give me the keys. No, the locksmith, you're buying a HUD home. So they pretty much, we don't know who had the copy of the keys before that. They don't want to be liable for it, right? So it's always a liability issue. So here's the fun part. Any questions up to now before you guys run out of them? No? You guys want to stretch? We got,
It's very thorough.
it's the last stretch. It's the advertising part, the fun part. Yeah, let me see if we have any questions on the chat. I think Jamar's already. Oh, there's a noise in the background. That's probably me doing that. Okay. All right. So yeah, let's finish up the. Oh. So the advertising. This is how to advertise HUD homes. May you advertise HUD homes? Yes, you may. Please abide by the following guidelines. Advertise them in a professional, ethical, positive manner. Refer to them as HUD homes, HUD owned, and HUD acquired only. Always include the equal housing logo on all your prints, very important. Oops. It got locked. Okay, so any floodplain zones, you gotta warn if there's anything wrong with the property, you gotta let them know if it's applicable. Adhere to all federal, state, county, and city real estate commission advertising regulations, the Truth in Lending Act when advertising. When showing the HUD homes, always make sure you secure the property, doors and windows, and put the keys back in the lockbox. A lot of people forget, so some people don't do it purposely, some people do. The things not to do: don't post a home before they're listed to the general public, like, hey, what's coming soon with HUD? No, you can't do that. Don't use the HUD or FHA logos on the seals. It's not, they don't want you to use that. Just use the fair housing logo. State or imply the property different from what's shown. Like you can't change the price on your own. And don't give out the HUD keys, of course, to your buyer. Don't refer from advertising them as distress, repo, foreclosed, repossessed, must sell. You don't want to use any of those. No REO, nothing like that. Don't place signage aside from what's from the listing broker. Like, don't put your own sign up there, and don't destroy any advertising from listing brokers. Don't remove our signs. It's happened before, where people would just put their sign. It's crazy. Yeah, what people do to get business, right? It's not. Yeah, there's an ethical way to get business, and there's a not so ethical way. You can advertise wherever you want. Billboards, Facebook, they don't care. Just do it in the proper manner. Don't represent HUD in the bad way, because you will get in trouble. Especially us. I mean, we always make sure the equal housing logo's there, making sure everyone gets a fair chance at home ownership. That's what it's all about, right? That's what we should be promoting. All right, cool. That's it for now. Any questions now that you guys have? Yeah, so listing brokers, you can apply. It's a 4-year. It's a 4-year award. I think they closed it out. That was back in, I want to say, June of last year. Like, I haven't got any HUD homes yet, but I know they're coming. Some people have around, especially in Florida. In California, they're very scarce. But yeah, it's just, and I have had the HUD contract before, so it's a 4-year contract. I had it and then I lost it and regained it. So it's just every 4 years you gotta apply. What helps is if you sell HUD homes, like if you've already sold some, it's great. That's like a good foot in the door. Like, hey, here's how many I've sold. If you never sold a HUD home, chances are, they're not gonna look at you. But if you've at least made an effort and you sold HUD homes, that helps. If you have REO experience, of course, that always helps. I've been in REO for over 20 years now. So just got in the business by accident, but yeah, it was like, it wasn't like, then they tell me, oh, there's going to be a normal business. I'm like, I don't know what normal is. It was just selling REOs. I thought that was like, or HUD homes. I thought that was normal. But then when the market shifted back to normal, I was like, oh, now I know what they mean by normal. I got to actually go out and show homes and do open houses. So it was a little different. But yeah, now I've got a taste of both. And now I kind of see the market headed that way again.
So HUD homes are mostly like what the bank takes from the capital.
Yes, but the HUD homes are insured by the federal government or FHA. Yeah, they're insured homes. They're federally insured. FHA doesn't actually do loans. They don't originate loans. They insure loans on the secondary market. So like if you have like a New American Funding or any bank, just Wells Fargo, whatever, they get a bulk of loans, right? And they sell these mortgage-backed securities in the secondary market. So they'll package them up nicely in a bundle, and the government, like, when you heard the Fed saying, oh, we're gonna stop buying these bonds. That's what they mean. They're gonna stop buying back. They were buying like 80 billion during the pandemic of bonds. So they were keeping these bonds going. Now they say we're gonna stop buying, like decrease some of that. There's a term that they use. I forget there's a fancy term that they use, but yeah. So now that in a nutshell, yeah, FHA, they'll buy a bulk of them and they'll insure them. And they'll send them off to, I don't know, a servicer, right? That will send you the bill. So that's the servicing part. But if they, let's say borrower doesn't pay, they may foreclose on it. And if it led back to it being an FHA insured loan, then it might become a HUD home. If they didn't sell it off, because sometimes banks sell them off behind the scenes too. They sell tapes of REO all the time. Or non-performing notes, I should say, NPLs. Yeah, so it's a little complicated. And then there's hedge funds buying non-performing loans from banks, and they'll foreclose on them. They're sometimes a little more aggressive because they don't have all the regulations that HUD or the federal government or major institutions will have. A lot of times they're not that regulated. So the hedge funds will kind of start seeing those foreclosures first. Does that make sense? Yeah. Any other questions? Did you guys learn anything? All right, so let me just tell the people here.
Yeah, well, let's do them, let's do some